Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we're checking out ITZY's Guess Who album, part 1, okay? Because I feel like once we get past 4 songs, I just talk too much and the videos get too long, and then it becomes complicated with uploading and editing and everything. So we're gonna check out the first 3 songs in this part, and the next part we're gonna check out the last couple. It's just the way it's gonna happen, okay? I apologize now, but at least we're getting through some of the music. I'm really excited for this because I loved Mafia in the Morning. So good. Stuck in my head forever. Just randomly start singing it and living my life. So good. So I am super excited to see what else we're gonna get with this album and this like era of ITZY. I'm excited and nervous. Just how I like to go into music anyway. Oh, okay. It's a little bluesy. Can we talk about the fact that they just threw us into this with that crazy guitar going on? And then the energy that Yuna has in her voice is just so good. It's so fun. I love the flip-ups that she was doing and some of that almost like vocal fry that was coming through. And then the call response that we have here, so good. Love the callback to talking about like not liking boring things, right? That's like a continuous kind of motif through their lyrics, which I really love. What are we doing? What is this beat? I don't know what I was expecting going into this because I'm like, I don't know anything about what these songs are going to sound like. It's not like I've checked out like a medley or anything. I was not expecting this to be the sound we were going in, given what the like lead single for this like EP was. I'm not mad about it. I'm just trying to get over the shock. Love that melody. Oof. Beautiful vocal. Ooh. Whoa. What are we doing sonically? Wow. Okay, I'm just trying to put myself in the headspace of like when this song came out, because I feel like we got some more of this sound with like acoustic guitar or something that's a little bit more like rock. I feel like I said like bluesy before, but also there's a little bit of that kind of country twang, I guess, in a little bit of it too, and like the choice of some of the chord progressions. And I feel like I've seen more of that in like little things here and there in more recent stuff in K-pop, like 2025. But this was like, what, 4 years ago-ish that this came out? And now I'm just like, I'm questioning everything I knew. Because I'm like, was I just not paying attention? Because to be fair, I do tend to veer on the darker side of sounds in K-pop, just because I like rock and a darker industrial sound anyway. Wild with this beautiful guitars, beautiful vocals going into the pre-chorus, right? I think it was Chaeyoung, again, lyric videos. I do feel like I mostly recognize their voices, but I am also like not 100% because anxiety. So I apologize if I get any of it wrong. But beautiful vocals with the pre-chorus going into it. Love the melodies that we're getting, those like repetitions is really fun because it's got a nice like bounce to it. And then to have the elongation of the spelling out of ITZY is super fun. They're also just having so much fun with brightening up their voices at certain points where it's almost like caricature, but it's just like exaggerating the tone of their voices to get this really fun shout vocal or just like a really bright vocal that has this kind of like playful tongue-in-cheek thing that I usually expect from like an ITZY song. There's a little bit of humor of like, why are you so mad? We're just having fun, right? I feel like that's so much of what ITZY's persona is, at least earlier on in their stuff, of just having a bunch of fun and whole like girls will be girls thing, although that is definitely a different sound sonically going into that era. But I think that it's really fun that they're stretching their voices in so many of these different ways and picking these like faster melodies, right? And then moments where they're really elongating out certain sounds, because I think it just adds this really fun, playful bounce to the whole thing while they're still leaning into that, sorry, I'm not sorry for being myself and having fun and doing what I want. Love it. Like even this, like the da-da-da, like repetition, so fun. Again, of this unapologetic, it almost feels like shots fired, right? Especially since we have a song called Shoot Later. And we have a little bit of that like outlaw imagery, like mafia in the morning, right? So I think it's really fun to have these like sharp, repetitive sounds in the cadences. Yeji had so much fun with her delivery as well. Maybe we just listen to it again. Maybe we just listen to it again. Why not?
I'm satisfied. Go up high. Go up high.
Ooh, beautiful little vocal at the end there. I'm so done with Jujin. Okay, I get it. I understood that when I went into listening to this group, the moment that any kind of rap cadence happens, I'm like, I'm in danger because I know what I am like. And then I learned more about who, like some of her personality, and then some of the persona that she has as a performer. I'm tired of her having so much charisma, even just in her voice, right? I'm not even looking at her performing, and I know that's like a whole other issue. It's just the charisma and like character in her voice that has so much confidence, has so much just like almost like on the verge of laughing at you for being ridiculous, for thinking that your opinion matters to her, you know what I mean? And it just gets me every single time. And then we had the beautiful little pass up of the vocals there. What are we doing with this song? I'm a little bit, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do with myself with this song, because it was, again, I have to stop thinking that I know what ITZY's sound is, because I know there's like a quintessential core sound that they have, and like I know it when I hear it, but also they keep doing things that I don't expect because Dala Dala, right? So I get it. I understand the concept. I'm just waiting for the moment where I'm like, I know what's coming next, at least a little bit. It's a little drag to her voice. Beautiful. You do, in fact. And this is just beautiful. Okay, just, I know I'm interrupting, but do we get a little bit of rasp at the end of that like last note, or is it like I'm trying to listen if it's rasp or if it's like distortion on some of the instruments? Either way, I love that we get this beautiful light airy vocal, right? And then you get that little bit of grit right at the end of, oh, you thought you knew what you were dealing with. Like it has a little bit of that vibe of, again, like the are you ready for me here, but like the whole you don't even know what you're dealing with yet. Don't presume you understand what I'm about to do next, right? It's so fun. Look, because I know that they're gonna give me a bridge. ITZY likes to give me a bridge, so I was just gonna point out, I love that we have a bit of a rap cadence for the chorus, because again, like if you think of conventional sounds in a song, it's usually like you get more of a rap cadence for like verses, right? And then the chorus is very like vocal heavy. I love that we get that like pre-chorus. It's gorgeous, airy, light vocals. And then we get a little bit of that like rap cadence vibe, almost like melodic, right? For the chorus. And then again, that like elongation on their name to be like, hey, I'm gonna spell it out for you so you remember our name, right? Say it louder. This is our name. You're going to remember it. So I just love the attitude, and I love how much fun they're having with the characters of their voices. It's so good. Like almost like bunginess of it, right? Because the what? Right? Like they're like flipping up on these really fun points, and it just has this wonderful bounce to the cadences, and I love it. Well, no. No singing like that. There's a new instrument being added. Look, the beautiful strings. And I was like, first off, we don't need to have the vocal fry and things going on with the attitude of the performance. And then Leah came in and I was like, hang on, I think I'm ascending to a new plane of existence. That was beautiful. I mean, I would expect nothing less, to be fair, but dang. The layered vocals. Oh, I love that we got like the group vocals at the end. I love that we end with them saying they're gonna go higher. And I also love the way that they're talking about like no limits, right? But also going up without hesitation. Like this idea of we're not gonna flinch. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm gonna do whatever I want. It's like the whole concept of I'm not going to apologize for who I am or what I want, or the fact that I know that I can accomplish things. Having that confidence and being like, I'm not just bragging for the sake of bragging. Like I'm not just saying things and I don't have any backing for it. You're gonna watch me do it. Because I'm not going to sit around and hesitate and be like, you know, this and that reason for why I can't try it right now. Which I feel like is a lot of people who can't really back up their claims, is they come up with a lot of excuses for why they can't actually prove it to you. Whereas like, it's these, yeah, I don't have time to deal with your like doubts or your criticisms or whatever. I'm too busy like running ahead to the next thing. Follow me. Let's do the next thing. Let's keep going. Let's try something else. And I love that whenever people say I'm not boring, like I'm not doing something boring. And I think that is really fun, especially for a song like this where I'm like, I literally would not have guessed this sound from them. I don't think I would have pulled some of that. I know they had a little bit of, I feel like there's other songs where we've definitely had the acoustic guitar, a little bit of twang. They definitely pull from like lots of different inspiration, like sonically. But I love that this was so like, I don't know, out of left field in terms of what I would have expected after the lead single for this. But I think that's like the whole point of, you thought that you knew what we were doing. We're not. We're gonna take a little detour. We're gonna still surprise you and try something different. Hey, some people are gonna like it. Some people aren't gonna like it. At least you can't say that we're like being boring and doing the same thing over and over again. Also some gorgeous vocals, and then also some really fun vocals. Love getting some of the like layered moments as well, and then just getting them all singing together. So good. I like the united front of we go up higher all together. Right? So I love that so much. Wow. It makes me very excited because now I'm like, I have no idea what this album is going to be because we've gotten two very different songs. Okay, kidding me. I don't even know what we're going to be doing. Okay, like this, so far this album, I'm like, no idea. Couldn't tell you. Ooh. Definitely more electronic.
But I'm
Ooh. Whoa, whoa, we're already switching up, but I love that we're getting like a darker sound here. Again, very different from the last sound, but the keeping you on your toes with it sonically. Love that we're getting like a bit of a darker tone from them too. Like I was saying in the last song of how I felt like they were intentionally throwing their voice forward to get this almost like exaggerated bright sound. And this one is definitely leaning into some more of those like darker tones to their voice. I also really love the imagery of, what was it, like wasted time pains me was one of the lines. I probably won't be able to find it. Yeah, meaningless time pains me. I love that. It's kind of like I was saying at the end of the last one. I don't have time for this. I'm too busy like going forward without hesitation. I'm too busy moving on to the next thing and like trying something new and experimenting to see what's gonna happen next and having fun with it. And even the line of "you're like so no fun," it's like the kidding me playing off the sorry not sorry, and kidding me is almost like, are you still complaining? Are you still here? Like, I don't have time for this. Are we gonna keep going in the same circles of you like passing judgment and critiquing me and saying you shouldn't be doing all these things? You're like, even just the sounds being so different with these songs. And again, some people are gonna like a different shakeup of sound, some people are not. And I feel like this song is just them being like, every day I'm sick and tired, like literally in the lines of, I'm tired of us going around in the same circles and us still doing the same thing. Especially at this point, like ITZY has released enough music that like at this point, I think you're a fan. If you keep coming back, if you keep listening to their music, keep showing up to their videos and leaving comments and having opinions, sounds like a fan to me. Just saying. So it almost has that vibe of being a little bit tired. And I like that while the last song was fun in a similar vein of we're going to be doing what we want, we're going to be having fun. Again, that idea of follow me of, hey, you should also be having fun. You should also be doing something that makes you happy instead of focusing on the stuff that you don't like or that makes you angry or upsets you. Even if like their music is something that you don't particularly enjoy, it's, hey, you should be doing something that you like then. You should be spending time on something that does make you happy, or like just giving in to the fun of listening to their music, and then you can move on with your life. You don't need to like buy all of their merch or albums or go to their concerts. Like you could just listen to the song, have a fun time, and then keep going. So I feel like that song was Sorry Not Sorry was a little more of that like fun character that they could bring to their voice, and this one feels a little bit more of that. Again, we have a bit of a darker sound, we have more of these electronic sounds coming in. It feels like it might have a little bit more of an edge to it of, are you kidding me? Are we still doing this? No, I don't have time. Like I don't have time to deal with all of this so far. Love the layered vocals and that repetition. That's interesting. Ooh. Nasty drop as I would expect, honestly. Ooh, I love that. Again, I love the fun repetition, beautiful like vocals like passing off. Love the lyric that was like talking about not being like honest on the outside, it not being the same inside, and yeah, acting differently from the inside. I think that is in line with it too, of like I was saying, hey, if you keep showing up to listen to their music, if you keep watching their videos, if you keep having opinions and thinking about them and talking about them, I think you might be a fan, right? I think you might actually enjoy listening to their stuff, maybe, right? And saying, hey, you're acting like this way on the outside, but on the inside, you spend a lot of time thinking about me and putting like emotional energy towards what I am doing. You pay a lot of attention for someone who keeps acting like they don't like me. So I love that idea of, are you like, stop acting like saying this isn't a joke. Like, of course it is. Of course you like my music because you keep showing up. And again, like I've said before, and if you're showing up on a B-side, honey, that's a fan. You can, if you come across their singles, sure. I had heard a couple of their singles here and there, like bits and pieces, just because they were super popular. Sure. But if you're coming to a B-side and listening to it and having opinions and emotions and stuff, I think you're a fan, and I think you need to just give in to the fact that you like their music and not worry about other people's opinions or what other people might think because you enjoy it, right? Like, just let yourself enjoy it, right? It's like they said, like, you should be doing something fun, something that you like and enjoy, and also like letting yourself enjoy the things that you enjoy regardless of what people might think of you, right? Oh, I hope there's choreo for this. Okay. Ooh, okay. I love the like rage, like racks and racks, like stacks and stacks, and even though you can't over control me, don't overstep. And it's like they were saying in the chorus of you better act properly, and I think that is also part of it too. Even like saying stop saying it's not a joke, or I think that is something that can happen. I was taking from the angle of like people who are more of a fan than they're willing to admit, or even just not letting themselves enjoy things because there's like a certain like judgment of that or whatever. But I also think that there's a side of this that is people like saying things that they shouldn't, or being negative or whatever. I've even had this where like people have left comments that are like rude, quite frankly. And then when I'll reply, I just be like, hey, you can't be rude in my comments. It's not anything like, I'm not taking it personal. I'm not getting emotional. I'm just like, rules, be respectful of my comments. And the number of times I've had people like immediately be like apologizing and being like, I didn't think that you would read this. If you think I'm not gonna read it, you definitely aren't thinking that any of the ITZY members are gonna read it, right? Because I'm small fries next to them, right? I don't pull those kind of numbers. So I know that there's definitely lots of people who are like, oh, I can just vent what I'm feeling at these people who are in the public eye, like ITZY, because they're not going to see it. They're not going to read my comment, but they probably do. Just because they can't engage with it, just because they can't reply, right, doesn't mean that they don't read it, that they're not aware of what people are saying. And if they were to call you out on it, or other people call you out on it, right, people who are fans or people who are just like, hey, don't be disrespectful to somebody that you don't even know, right? People will act like it's a joke or try to play it off or be like, oh, they're not going to read it, so it doesn't matter, or whatever. Like they feel like they're just being angry into the void instead of like it actually being towards a person, right? So I think that there's some of that too. If you better act properly, and they talked about being hurt every day, right? And then talking about like the rage stacking up, and even this like you come back to the same spot, right? Like you keep coming back to have opinions about me. You keep coming back to tell me what you think and feel. You keep coming back to listen to my stuff and look at my posts and see my performances. You keep having an opinion. So maybe you're more of a fan than you think. And I love the delivery of, again, kind of a darker tone. Obviously, Origin has some of that with her like rap cadences anyway. But I feel like this, compared to the last one, there's less of that kind of like humor in her delivery. And this one sounds more like that exhaustion of what are we even doing? Like, why do I have to keep doing this? Like, why are we stuck in this cycle? And even like the repetition of the song in the chorus, I feel like fits into that. We're going through the same motions over and over again. Like, at least give me something different, right? At least be creative about it. Love her little vibrato. That too of like Sorry, just I don't mean to interrupt, but even that line of I keep saying stop, hey stop, and you ignore me. Don't do that. Every time I'm like putting you in their place, we're doing the same thing over and over again, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep doing what I want. I'm gonna keep being my own person. I'm gonna keep having fun. You can't control me. You can't just like overstep, feel like you have some kind of influence on who I am because I'm a person, right? Which is something that I feel like a lot of people, I don't know, conveniently want to forget when it comes to idols, is like they're whole human beings, which means that they're allowed to like have opinions and thoughts and, dare I say it, flaws. God forbid someone has an off day in any performance. Oh my goodness, it's everywhere. People are like, see, this is what I mean. They'll be like, they can't sing, they can't dance. And I'm like, or they were sick that day and they had to go on stage anyway because the show must go on. I don't know, they didn't sleep enough, they've been busy. Who knows what happened, right? Sometimes you sing back-to-back shows. Hey, your voice gets tired. You're not gonna sound as good. You can do all the training you want. A worn out voice is only going to give you so much, right? There's always all of this like criticism. People just like jump on the first thing. And then no matter how many times you're like, try to explain yourself, try to say, hey, these are the reasons for why something happened or the logistics of something. They're not interested in that because like I was saying, it's just a way to vent what they're feeling. It doesn't matter like who the idol is. They're just like, I just need like a target for what I'm feeling instead of like actually dealing with the problem. So I think that having that lyric of I keep saying, hey, stop, and having it repeated, right? And then saying, but you ignore me again. And we keep doing the same circles, even though I'm not going anywhere. And it seems like you're not going anywhere. So what are we going to do? Something has to change, right? Yeah. Whoa, and we're going to a drop, but the vocals, always so good on a bridge. But I also love this looking at my eyes. Exactly. Right? And don't think like, say it to me. Because like I was saying, like so many of these people are like, oh, I didn't think that you would read it. They're not going to see it. It doesn't matter because no one is actually going to read it. Sometimes people just say stuff online because they're like, I want people to engage with it, like rage bait. And they're like, the idols aren't going to see it, so it doesn't matter. It does though, because you don't know what they're going to see. If you're adding them or commenting on their posts, their videos or whatever, just assume that they're going to see it. And I think that'll change the way that you behave. And I know that I'm saying that as someone like happen to have a fully developed frontal lobe, so I have a little bit more of a ability to think long term about my actions. But also I wasn't doing that when I was a teenager. You know what I was doing when I was 16? Like hobbies. I was making stuff. I was hanging out with friends. I was doing performances, right? I was busy. I had a job. If you're going to say something, say it to my face. Give it to me straight. Don't mince your words. Don't think it inside of your head. Don't say it through like a keyboard somewhere far away. Look me in the eyes. Tell me exactly what you think and feel, right? Because you won't. The majority of them won't. Because the moment that you call them out on it, they're like, oh no, it was a joke, or I didn't mean it. Or they come up with a million excuses for why they didn't actually mean what they said. And it's, then don't say it. If you're not going to say it to my face, don't say it, right? Ooh. Ooh, I hope that there's choreo. Oh, thank goodness I got another chorus. Oh, we got an intro. I mean, what a song. I loved that one. I love the darker tone of it. Like I was saying, that's what I lean to anyway. I love that it's got a little bit more of that edge to it. Like I was saying, I feel like the last song was them kind of being like playful and saying, hey, I'm gonna do what I want anyway. I'm gonna have fun with it. A little bit more of that tongue-in-cheek humor that I'm used to having with an ITZY song. And then this one was like, hey, stop it. It was a little bit more of that bite back, which is definitely something that they've talked about. Of like, okay, you want to pick a fight with me? Know that I fight back. Know that I'm not just going to sit here and take it. So I love that we got a little bit more of that darker edge, a little bit more of that bite to it. And I love that we gave a bunch of room for the instrumentation, which is why I'm like, I hope that there's choreo. I don't know, because when this came out, I know that performances and all of that were like a little bit iffy, but whether or not we were going to get anything. So I don't know how much choreography we're getting for the songs, but I love that they just gave the music some space, because it was like, stop kidding me now. And then they just let it breathe. Okay, you better act properly. Being very straightforward. There's no way to mince their words. And it's like giving it space to like sink in of, I'm repeating myself again, but I will keep telling you to behave yourself. Even though like savage love of, it's like I was saying before, playing off of like, hey, if you care that much about me, think that much about me, I think you might not actually hate me as much as you claim, but it's still not good. Like, I feel like you need to just give in to the stuff that you like. And also, no one's forcing you to listen to music that you don't like. I don't know why people act offended. Some people act like they're being forced to like gunpoint to be listening to some of these artists. And I'm like, except you can just not listen to them. It's fine. You can just listen to the music you like. Even some people like will leave comments on my videos where they're like telling me that they don't like my videos. I'm like, okay, no one's making you be here. I don't know. You could have just left. Right? You could have watched somebody's, and sometimes I'm like, okay, like you can watch somebody else's video. There's lots, I'm not the only reactor out there. I'm not here to say I'm original in my content. There's lots of other people that you could be watching. And some people get like extra offended that I'm like, I don't care. Someone who doesn't like my videos isn't gonna watch my videos. Good. I'm here to have fun and to have a good time. If you don't, if you're not having fun, you can leave. You should be doing something that is fun. So I like having some of that in this as well. Even like thrilling, nervous, right? Like the juxtaposition of those two things, like savage and love, thrilling and nervous. It feels like this weird like back and forth and ups and downs, and there is something like almost like toxic about this. Definitely toxic about it if we're talking about some of the things that I think we are, right? But it's like, we don't need to keep doing this, right? Like we don't need to have this keep going to this back and forth. We don't need to keep going in circles, but also at a certain point you go through the same motions enough times. Can we just move on? Can we do something different? Can we try something else? So I really loved that one. I loved it sonically. I loved just like the message of it. And I think that again, it was pulling back on some of the like fun playfulness that we had in the first song with Sorry Not Sorry, and being like a little bit more like putting their foot down of, hey, stop treating this like it's a game. If you're going to be acting like that, like if you can act properly, fine, we can have a fun time. Otherwise, stop it. We got Wild Wild West, not to be mistaken with any other. Interesting to me because Wild West, I think like Western cowboys, but we already did the outlaw thing, but not with this single. I don't know. I'm here for it either way. My brain is conceptually, is it a continuation or are we doing something else? Who knows? It's ITZY. They're going to do whatever they want. All right. Getting like ambient noise. Oh, okay.
It's the wild, wild west. 찔리지 않게 조심해. 거칠은 가시들이 좀 많아. 필요가 좀 없어도 하진 않아. 그게 나의 attitude. Oh, oh, oh.
Ooh. Ooh, wait, okay, I love the like way that we took out a bunch of the production there. I love that we're getting moments of their voices like layered up, like getting the harmonies. I also like the imagery with the like talking about thorns, because I was like, okay, thorns talking about almost like external things again. We've had some of that throughout a lot of their songs, but like specifically with the songs so far in this album of having external barriers or whatever. But then I was thinking, oh, like thorns also like rose, which is like beauty, but also with a little bit of that bite, right? Which I feel like I associate a lot with ITZY anyway, is like the mixture of those two things. And then also the legend of, is it Sleeping Beauty? I'm gonna admit those fairy tales a little bit outside of my knowledge, but isn't it Sleeping Beauty who has the like all of the thorns, because she's like Briar Rose, right? So she has all of the thorn bushes that are like surrounding the castle. So I just was making like the connection there of, again, like beauty, princess, but also like the association with like thorns and being able to fight back, but then also like almost feeling like you're being trying to be contained, right? Be the princess staying in your tower instead of fighting back yourself. So I feel like that's some of the imagery that we're getting, because it's even if I grow thorns, as long as I like them, I don't care. This idea of like I'm still a rose even if I have thorns, right? I can be a princess and I can fight my own battles, right? Which is something that like ITZY has always played around with, is they're both like embracing like femininity in the way that they're presenting themselves. They're not saying, oh, we're going to lean into more like masculine traits or like ways of presenting ourselves as like a group. They're very much still within that like very like feminine young women having fun and all of that. I'm thinking of, there's a few times, but I'm thinking specifically with Leah where she has like the long dress. We've had a couple times where she has like gowns on, and it's very like contrastive to what other people are doing, but it fits with kind of her role within this group of like kind of like gentle like femininity. And it's still gonna be like, is it like not shy where she's like kicking stuff off of the table and stuff, or like one of them where she's like kicking them off? That's what I think of, where she's at the big like grand table and she has a nice dress on, and then she like climbs up on the table, she's like kicking things off and everything. So it's again playing with that, like I can be both things, like I can hold more than like one simple identity. So I think that's fun too. And even like the Wild West theme, like the whole like concept of Wild West is there weren't like rules or laws or like things that you had to like adhere to. So I get that's some of what they're pulling from too, is I don't have to go by your rules. Says who? Who says that those are the rules I have to follow, right? Ooh, I like that too. The cheer. Ooh. Beautiful vocal. That's a fun melody. Ooh. Ooh, I love that like off-kilter melody. And again, I think it fits with that kind of like Wild West, whose rules are we following anyway, right? And again, like this continued theme throughout a bunch of ITZY's music of dala dala. We're different, right? And we can do what we want, and we're going to try different things and have some fun. And sometimes maybe we'll play around with something and it won't work and we'll move on and it's okay, right? What's wrong with making a mistake and like learning from it and then continuing forward, right? I'd rather try something, make a mistake, than stay doing nothing, like be scared, right? So I love that we're getting this off-kilter melody in the chorus that's like really fun. I think we're getting some, I don't know, like South American, possibly Latin things. I'm hesitating because I'm not great with genres, and I also, it's not my strong suit as someone way up in the north, so I'm hesitant only because of that. But I think we're getting some of that because there's definitely a bunch of that like influence in the like Wild West aesthetic or whatever. We don't need to go into how that is like problematic in its own way, but for the sake of this song and keeping the topic contained, but we're pulling from that theme in like lots of different ways, but obviously making it their own thing. And I like this coming off of the last song because the last song kind of had this little bit of exhaustion to it, and this one's kind of, you know what, Wild West, I don't have to go by anyone's rules but my own. And I love the eeny meeny miny mo. I love the snipe with my words. Was that what we got? Obviously translations are going to be what they are, and I'm sorry if anything is wrong, but I just need to get like the basic vibe. But this idea of sometimes I snipe at you with my words, like the idea of like almost being like a sharpshooter with the way that you choose how you're going to stand your ground. And I think that also does a really good job of pulling from the previous song's themes, right? Of like the way that we're arranging the songs in the album, to have that kind of that concept here to be like, hey, like I'm gonna fight back. I'm gonna speak up for myself. Don't think just because I'm polite sometimes I'm rude. That's just my attitude. I guess me standing up for myself is attitude, which is like a whole other issue, especially when it comes to like women doing anything, let alone in the public eye and like entertainment spheres. But I like the concept of I'm not going to just stand here and let you treat me however you want. I have thorns. If you come too close to me, you're gonna get hurt. If you try something, I'm a sharpshooter with my words. I'm gonna be precise in the way that I put you in your place. So I think that's all really fun imagery, especially again going with the cowboys, Wild West, all of that as well. They're doing a really good job of pulling a bunch of like fun imagery and also like themes just by going off of this like Wild West that we're getting in the, I'm sorry, Wild Wild West that we're going with the title. Extra wild, you know? I like that too after. I like that too, like meanie, like you're a meanie, but also like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Whoa, okay, love the attitude, obviously, that we always get from both Yuna and Rijin there, but I love the flower imagery that bring in. It's like I was saying, rose has thorns, but also like briar rose, right? Like that, like fairy tale imagery. So I love all that. And again, like what Sleeping Beauty is also, they'll prick your finger on the like spinning wheel, right? So again, like that, if you get too close, something's gonna happen to you, right? You think I'm the princess and I'm not in this story, right? So I like that we're bringing in a bunch of the imagery and also like the flowers. I like that we had that with Yuna's verse before and then carrying that in with the first line of Rijin's, right? The way that's passed off with those two. And I love, I'm not gonna make you feel better, right? Like the whole like bring up your deep wounds, right? Like this idea of I'm not here to make you feel better about yourself. I'm not here to like apologize for being myself and doing my own thing just because I like need to like not hurt your feelings. Again, going back to that rude versus attitude versus like just stating my opinion, right? Or like standing up for myself, or like just not letting you get away with being rude with me, right? Like things that like come up all the time, not just like with I'm like saying women in this case because we are dealing with a girl group, but I think it comes up a lot with just like anyone in the public eye, especially in the idol space, where the word idol in and of itself is you have to be something like better than the average person. So you have to take the high road all of the time, even though like you still have thoughts, you still have feelings, you still have opinions on things. And I feel like even when idols do like the slightest thing, it can be just like a facial expression that they make when someone like says something to them, and suddenly it becomes like a whole thing. Like everyone's analyzing it. It's like all over the place. Everyone who's ever wanted to judge that idol is, see, look how rude they are. Look at the face they pulled. I feel like there's some of that coming through in this too, of I'm allowed to speak up for myself. Hey, I'm not gonna make you feel better by smiling and putting on an act if you're not going to treat me with the same respect, right? We're like, we have to meet each other in the same place. If we're gonna, you treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect. But if you're gonna come up and be rude to me, yeah, I might have a little bit of attitude back. Maybe I'm gonna reflect it back at you. So I like that we're getting some of that vibe, and like the attitude, just even in the performance of this, the character of it, I think works really well for conveying that as well. I like that too. Like, do I need you? Ooh, they ad lib. I like that wind down too. That might be my favorite part. Ooh, and then we smooth it all out, but I love that off-kilter melody. I just think it fits so well with the idea of we can do whatever we want, we can break the rules if we want to. We don't have to like adhere to some kind of, I don't know, social convention, or almost there's so many like things that we see as, oh, this is like the rules because it's the way that it's always been done. These like conventions that we just uphold because we're like, we don't do it any other way. And I say this as somebody who loves routines. Okay, I like knowing how things are done. I like doing things the same way. I like my little schedules and routines and everything. But also, just because something has been done the same way for everyone else has done it the same way, it's been done that way for a while, doesn't mean it's the best way. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have to change as like time moves on. And I think that It's fun to have this very off-kilter delivery in that one little section. And it's almost, I don't know, maybe it's just because we're getting some of the fairy tale imagery, at least like in my brain, we are, that I'm thinking Disney films and I'm going like Jungle Book, Trust Me, like the snake song. It feels a little bit like that. It's almost like hypnotized, but I'm thinking Trust Me specifically of being like, hey, like just trust me that I got this, right? Just trust me that like I understand what I'm doing and just enjoy the music, just enjoy the ride. And if you get too close, I'm a rough type, right? Like I'm gonna fight back, right? Like, don't think that you're gonna be able to just push me around and I'm going to let it happen. I like that call and response too with the ad-libs. Okay. Oof. Ooh, ad-lib, hang on. Vocals all over the place. We're going back. Ugh. Gorgeous. Love all the backing vocals. Woo. I love that. I don't know how to speak pretty or prettily. Ooh, the like gun sounds. Ooh, no, not another song. Not this video. That was the last one, but I really loved the like off-kilter vibe of that. I love that like leaned in to the theme of Wild West, like this idea, or Wild West, this idea of like lawlessness or outlaw imagery that they've had in their songs. Like I was saying, we've already had imagery. I think that was Not Shy, right? Like the music video of Not Shy was where we had the wanted posters and everything, and they were like out in the desert. But that kind of like imagery that they're pulling from, both like sonically, but then like lyrically, some of the stuff that we're getting. Love when we're getting like the layered vocals, both like in the back, but like also this call and response vibe with it too, because it adds to that collective feeling, especially at the end of anything, girls. Like anything else that we need to add to that? No, we're good. Like that pretty much sums it up. Like I'm a sniper with my words, careful. And I love some of the fun that they were having with the delivery of their vocals. They always have such great character to their voices. I'm not entirely sure if like, the song sonically was all there for me personally, because it just felt like a little bit, I don't know, maybe I just wanted like more of a bassy sound, and that's definitely like a personal preference. It's just like someone who loves bass and like anything like percussion, rhythm section, maybe just something to like ground it a little bit more. But because I really liked the chorus part of it, but maybe I just, again, personal preference of that. And again, considering the theme of the song being, at least my interpretation, is this kind of lawlessness and doing what you want and not being constrained by anything. It's like, why do we need to like construct a song in the way that everyone else has? Them doing something different, them doing something off kilter fits with the theme of the song. So I'm not going to be upset with them for leaning into that. I think it's just again like a personal preference thing, but I definitely love all the imagery that they were pulling from with that. I think that it's always fun when like someone has like a concept or a theme for a song and they're just like, let's just like fully lean into a bunch of it. Even though like Thorns, I think if you're in like a desert, it's a lot harder for something to grow there, right? Plant stuff, so that's like pretty and like flowery and everything like that. It's no, I'm like a tough plant that can hold on its own, even like cactus, right? Like with the prickly and like thorns and everything, right? Of being like, I'm something that can like hold its own, and you could put me in an environment that is not meant to like support life, and I'm gonna tough it out because that's who I am, right? So I love when we get a song that's just let's pick a thing and just like really lean into it. And I think that ITZY does a really good job with that, even just on this album so far, let alone like previous releases and everything. Honestly, a really fun album so far, which like I expect from ITZY. They always have a lot of fun with their albums, but I feel like this one is just playing around with so many different like sounds, and they're doing so many different things. I know like thematically it feels a little bit like we're doing a lot of different things, but I think the overarching is just like outlaws, right? Because we have like mafia and cowboys and just this idea of being outside of like the constraints of what people tell you you're supposed to do, right? So I think that's what it is, but it's like an organized collective, right? It's like we as a group are going to go against what people say like we can and cannot do as performers, as like idols and musicians and everything. So I think that's the overarching theme, and we're getting kind of continuations of some of the stories of starting off being like, yeah, we're gonna do what we want and you might as well just join in and have some fun, right? And then we have the kidding me, right? Where it was like, no, like I've said multiple times, don't treat me that way, right? Don't be rude. Don't treat me like I'm not a person, or that I don't have feelings, or that I'm just like a punching bag for you to like take out any of your frustrations on. Again, having some of that bite, some of that fight back, and then having like Wild Wild West be this kind of, I'm done pretending, give some kind of gentle message to this, right? It's definitely fun. It's definitely playful, but I think that it definitely was just like, hey, I've given up trying to be some kind of like princess in your story that you're trying to make me into. I'm not. I'm a cowboy, and if you get too close to me, you are going to get hurt. I'm not here to make you feel better. So I feel like we're having a fun kind of progression there with the songs in terms of just like seeing the way that they're developing, like the almost like exhaustion of dealing with the same things, of dealing with like judgment and criticism and stuff like that. And I definitely know that like around the time that this album came out was definitely like tons and tons of popularity for ITZY. Like I remember definitely like hearing about them having parts of their songs and their choreography were like going viral and stuff like that. There was definitely a lot of eyes on them, so I'm sure that they were dealing with some stuff, and this is them being like, remember when we said we're not shy? Yeah, you seem to have forgotten that. You seem to have thought that because we're like making fun songs and we're like young blood like they had in like the lyrics, it's like you think that maybe we're just gonna not stand up for ourselves, and you're wrong. So I like that we're getting some of the energy. And the next song is called Shoot, so I'm assuming that is gonna be moving on with the theme maybe of being a sniper with your words. We'll see. Who knows with ITZY? Like usually we get like halfway through an album and they're like, let's do some other things, or let's like have songs towards fans or whatever. So I don't know what the last couple of songs from this album are gonna be, but I'm sure they're gonna be a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed listening to that along with me. You can click this play to go into my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so next time I post an ITZY reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.